Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking into Labor Day. You sent over some material that got you thinking, what's the actual story here? You know, more than just a long weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
So our mission today is to dig into that why, based on the information you showed.
It really is easy to just take that Monday off for granted, isn't it? But
Yeah.
the history, the context around it, well, it's pretty intense, as your source material lays out.
Okay, let's unpack that. The late 1800s in the U.S., the text you sent paints a picture of work that's frankly grim.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking really long hours, like
Yeah.
12-hour days, 6 days a week.
That's right. And incredibly dangerous, too. The source details these really hazardous environments.
Hazardous how?
I think constant exposure to toxic stuff, chemicals, accidents with machinery were common, often really serious.
Wow. And for all that risk and effort, the pay was minimal.
Extremely low. And practically no regulations, you know. No safety nets, no real worker protections. It led to just widespread exploitation.
It's hard to even picture that kind of relentless, dangerous work. So naturally, people started pushing back. Your source talks about the rise of the labor movement. How did that begin?
Well, faced with those conditions, workers realized they had more power together. They started forming unions.
The collective bargaining, right?
Exactly. So they could negotiate as a group, not just one person alone asking for something.
What were the main demands? Seems obvious now, maybe.
Things we'd consider fundamental today, really. Fairer wages, safer working conditions, and critically, a shorter work week. Getting away from that 12-hour day, 6-day grind.
But I imagine the employers, they weren't just rolling out the work.
Not at all. Text mentions fierce resistance, often violent crackdowns on protest and strikes. But despite that opposition, the movement didn't just fade away. It kept going, and public awareness started to grow. People began to see how bad things were.
Were there key figures driving this?
Yes, the source mentions people like Samuel Gompers, who was instrumental in the American Federation of Labor. Figures like him were crucial in organizing and advocating for workers' rights.
Okay, so the movement's growing, facing resistance, and then there's a specific event your source highlights. The Haymarket Affair in Chicago, 1886. That sounds significant.
It was huge. It started as a peaceful protest, part of the push for the 8-hour workday.
Peaceful, but
Then, tragically, someone threw a bomb. It caused chaos. Police fired back. People died on both sides. It got very messy very quickly.
and the impact of that. Your source called it a turning point. How so?
Well, initially it was used to paint labor activists as dangerous radicals, but the trials that followed were seen by many as unjust, and paradoxically, it ended up generating a lot of sympathy for the workers' cause.
Interesting. So even though it was a tragedy,
It sort of amplified the conversation. It made the need for reform much more urgent in the public eye, even for people who were maybe skeptical before. It definitely added momentum towards recognizing labor, eventually leading to Labor Day.
right. So when we fast forward to today, Labor Day isn't just about end of summer barbecues or mattress sales.
Exactly. Your source really emphasizes that. It's a commemoration, a way to remember the hard-won victories of workers.
Victories that came at a cost.
A huge cost. Sacrifices were made. It's about acknowledging that ongoing struggle for fairness, for equality in the workplace. Many rights we have now, weekends, safety standards, overtime pay, they weren't just given, they were fought for.
So Labor Day really stands as a reminder of that history, of collective action, and the fight for fair treatment. Which brings up a question for you thinking about today. How do you see those historical struggles resonating now? With all the current talk about the changing nature of work, worker well-being, the gig economy.
That's really the key takeaway, isn't it? Thinking about how those 19th century battles paved the way for protections we might take for granted. What echoes of that fight for basic rights and dignity do you hear in today's conversations about work? Something to really mull over.